I'm Rick Cosnett. I play Eddie Thorne, and you are listening to Flashbacks, a Flash Rewatch podcast. Justice for Eddie.
Hey guys, welcome to Flashbacks, a Flash Rewatch podcast where we cover every episode of the CW Flash show. And this season, obviously, we're covering season 3, episode 3, Magenta. I'm here once again with
Brady, your co-host as always. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing good. We've done this like reoccurring thing where we kind of like be like, do we remember this episode? And at first, I did not remember this episode. My hopes weren't very high, but just like not fully getting into it. But I guess we can do just like initial like off the bat
thoughts.
reactions. I really like this episode.
I did too, and I will say this time, because last episode I mentioned like I didn't remember this at all. I didn't going in, but the more I watched it, it was kind of a reverse of what was happening to Barry during Flashpoint. I watched it, and the further I got, the more I was like, wait, no, I remember this thing, and then I remember like this happens again in this episode, or they bring up this thing later in another episode. I just started remembering certain things.
Definitely. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. So we open on Barry waiting for what seems like forever for his date with Iris as he waits for the clock to hit 7 at the crime lab so he can leave. Julian ribs him when he tries to leave a few minutes early, throwing his weight around that he's a senior lab tech and that they leave at 7, not a moment earlier. We even see some cool slow-mo shots as Barry waits. Like, we see a moment where, like, he's literally watching the water droplets fall from, like, a
Yeah.
sink nearby.
Yeah, this was a really fun scene. I enjoyed the outlook of this. And I remembered for the longest time, that was the only phrase that I remember, like thing that I remembered was Julian going, not 6:58, not 6:59, sir. And then he just slows down and it freezes. That's the only thing I remember. Just that particular phrase for some reason. I guess it's because I get off work close to 7, so I always just think about that. But yeah, it was really
I've
fun.
had bosses like this before, though.
Yeah. But it's fun when Barry gets to like slow down his powers, and this is kind of where I noticed Barry's acting a little differently than normal, but we'll get into it later. I just kind of noticed it the more of the episode I watched.
He seems strangely like obviously like last season was a lot of him carrying like the weight of things. He seems
Yeah.
kind of happier this season a
He
little bit.
seems more like Young Justice Barry Allen, like Young Justice or comic book Barry Allen. He seems kind of closer to that in this particular episode than he has in the past. So that was a real fun treat to kind of see Barry not being a depressed bastard all the time.
Yeah. And my next note is usually this is Brady's thing to bring up music, but we hear one of my favorite songs from
I
the
like this song
2010s.
too.
Yeah, Electric Love by the band's called Borns. I remember this
Borns,
song from
yeah.
back then, yeah.
Yeah, they still play this at my work over the speakers occasionally, so I'll hear it. But I heard like the first opening couple notes. I was like, wait, I know this song for once. I don't need to Shazam this.
Yeah, no, it's what I was actually pleasantly surprised to hear this. Barry grabs flowers at super speed and makes Iris a cool bouquet and makes a heart, then her name. Like, she's like kind of looks at it weird. Then he makes her names out of the flowers, and then she says she just wants Barry, not Flash, tonight. She asks where they're going. He says a surprise, and then Flash main title. They have a nice date at a fancy restaurant that Iris jokes might be out of his price range. He says not to worry, get whatever you want. And like obviously this date is going to be cut short because like it's
Yeah.
they have it interrupted by like a bank robbery thing that he quickly stops, but then after that like they get called by Cisco and they both agree like, hey, let's just cut it short basically.
Yeah, I mean, they're both like very deep in the weeds of Flash stuff, so they're not gonna have a nice moment for very long.
Yeah. There's a cool metaphor in that scene, by the way. When Flash runs to stop the robbery, the flame from the candle goes out. I don't know if you noticed
Oh,
that.
yeah, I did notice that, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like immediately, like, kind of like, not the spark went away, but immediately any chance of like that date continuing. It's kind of a metaphor of like it's going to be snuffed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I kinda got that. And I'm also like I saw that and I was like, "Oh no, please don't let this be like a depressing episode where she's ragging on him for like you need to be there for me more or whatever as Barry, not the Flash." But I was like, I don't want more of that. I've seen enough depressing shit on TV today. I don't want to see that. But I was surprised, like we said, this is a more optimistic, happy episode.
Yeah. And like the other thing too is like, and they address this later, but there's definitely kind of like a weird like things are off, like they're kind of just both like Iris is kind of tired, like the whole vibe is kind of off where like they're kind of, I wouldn't say bored, but like there's like later on they say kind of boring, but like there's definitely they need to
Yeah.
try this out again. But
Yeah.
we cut to Star Labs as Joe and Cisco aim guns at a breach. They called him there to help. They can't close it. Suddenly Harry appears saying he needs Barry's help, and Jesse is back with speedster powers. He needs help with that. Like immediately, like were you? Because I know last season, like Harry obviously grew on you throughout the season. Were you
Yeah.
happy to see him back?
Yeah, 100%. I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't realize he came back this early and Jessie has her speed powers," which is one thing I did remember from this season is that
Yeah,
Jessie, but I will say Jessie's not the only one. Not this season
yeah,
anyway. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure you all know by the fact that he was fucking in episode 1 who we're referring to, but I'll keep it a surprise regardless. As much as I would like to talk about it, I will save it for the episode. But there's some hints of it actually in this one too with Wally because he sees Jesse come out of the port, not to steal your thunder here or anything, but he
mhm.
sees her like zipping around from the portal, and you kind of see like he's looking at her like, oh, well, I know how that happened. Why has that not happened to me? Like that, he doesn't say that at first, but
Yeah.
that's definitely the look he's got on his face.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like he's while he's sad he didn't get speed two is what my notes say, and then they want to run tests. They need to go to the speed lab, which we and Barry are introduced for the first time to this set that they have that they will definitely make more
Yeah,
use of.
yeah,
Harry
that was a
realizes that
good way to do it too. Sorry, that
yeah.
was a great
Oh, you're
way to
good.
do that. Was to have not only Barry be introduced to it, but us see it for the first time too. It makes us feel more connected to the character.
Definitely. Harry realizes that Barry traveled back in time due to his reaction and Cisco saying you've never been here before. He deduced it because they'd never been there before either and weren't affected by Flashpoint because they're on another Earth, which I thought was like kind of an interesting wrinkle to that.
Yeah, yeah, it make yeah, I don't know. I guess I never thought of it like spanning multiple Earths, so it was pretty I lost my train of thought again.
Because it's not like a crisis level event. It's kind of just like
No.
localized to Barry and like their Earth, basically.
Yeah, in the Flashpoint comic, it feels a lot more grand than it is, but yeah, I don't know. I've just never really thought of the fact that, like, oh, maybe a different Earth might be affected, but at the same time, it makes sense that it wouldn't be because it's on a completely different plane of existence from the timeline Barry was just fucking around with.
Yeah. Jesse begins testing her powers on the speed track. Poor Wally looks so sad. Wally
I
excuses
know.
himself, and Iris says she'll go talk to him. We don't actually see it though. Like they have like that moment
No.
that's set up, and there's no deleted scene either. Like
I
I
was just
looked.
about to ask that.
Yeah, there's no deleted scene or moment. Like they just have that. I was fully expected to write like they go into the hallway or something, but like no, they
Yeah.
don't.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Maybe they wanted to save us seeing that moment for like later on, or they just forgot to edit it out of the script, whichever one. But
Yeah,
I mean,
they
it doesn't affect anything really.
they get used out of that hallway. But
Oh yeah.
Barry tells Joe it's better if Wally doesn't have his speed, and Joe asks if this is about the other timeline, and Barry says just keep an eye on him. We cut to a random dingy apartment, and we see a guy in a utility suit named John. He walks into the apartment and asks where dinner is to his wife
Ugh.
and kid. I know. Who's played by Joey King. I don't know if you know her. She was in
I do
Kissing
know who
Booth
Joey King
and
is.
The
Yeah.
Act.
Yeah, I've seen
What do you know her
her in
from?
something. I don't know, but I know her from, maybe it is from this, but I know I've heard her name in reference to other things before. Um, I want to say as well, I feel like this particular character, I feel like I get cartoonishly pissed off about because he is very close personality wise to a family member of mine that is no longer with us. But he was
Okay.
very close to the personality of this dude. So I was kind of just like,
Yikes.
oh, get this fucking guy off my screen, please.
Yeah. I also know her, like I know we brought up Sabrina Carpenter the other day, but like her and
Oh
Sabrina Carpenter
God.
used to be like best friends, and so I'd always see like them hanging out like in pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they're still friends or not. I'm not like that like invested in Sabrina Carpenter. I
Yeah,
just like her
I
music,
don't
but
know.
that's about it. What were you saying?
Oh, I just said I don't know. I'm also looking up on IMDb Joey King to see if I've seen her in anything else
She did a
besides
lot of
this.
roles as like a child actor.
Yeah, her IMDb photo looks familiar, but I'm
Yeah,
not
she's been in a lot of
sure.
things.
So far, nothing I recognize other than The Flash. So maybe I
Yeah.
just know her from this and I've heard her name elsewhere. Oh,
Yeah.
she's in The Dark Knight Rises, apparently.
I don't know. Is it like maybe one of the kids we see for 5 seconds?
Yeah, she's just credited as older prison child.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so she's probably in the pit.
Probably. Oh, she's in a lot of animated stuff. Like, oh, she's in fucking Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs? Sorry, I
Yeah.
love that
No,
movie.
no, you're
That's my
good.
favorite Ice Age film. Sorry,
Nah,
you can
you're all
edit
good.
that out if you want. I just wanted
No,
to
you're
see if I
fine.
knew her from anything.
So anyway, his wife clearly is scared of him and says it's almost ready and goes to the kitchen. John starts complaining and shouting about an empty table greeting him when he gets home from a long day at work. Apparently, she's adopted. He gets in her face, like obviously the daughter character here,
Yeah.
and saying he saved her from the orphanage and provides for her every day. We learn her name is Frankie as he tells her to keep her mouth shut.
Oh,
Her Oh, well, go ahead.
this is actually, I looked it up. I have the Wikipedia page pulled up here right now. This is an actual comics character, but she
Hmm,
did not debut in The Flash. She showed up in Teen Titans number 17 from March of 1982. Her
that
name
makes
is the
sense.
same. She still goes by Magenta, but it looks like she has more like magic powers. She can generate and control magnetic fields, which she can use to lift, move, and manipulate um, ferrous metals, as well as achieve magnetic levitation by surrounding herself in a magnetic aura attuned to the Earth's geomagnetic field. So she
So she's
basically has the same powers in the show.
like basically like Magic Magneto, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. But she looks a lot darker complexioned in the one photo I saw.
Hmm,
But I don't know if that's like
interesting.
an important thing to her character or what. But I just thought that was really interesting that she appeared in a Teen Titans book first instead of, she has been in Flash stuff in 2018 in Flash Volume 5, but
Yeah.
it's interesting that she's been around since the 80s in fucking Teen Titans books. It makes sense though. It seems like the type of character you'd see in a Titans book.
Yeah, definitely. Her eyes light up a magenta color and she smiles, saying, "Sorry, John, Frankie's gone," as a street lamp bursts through the window and knocks him back. Back at CCPD, Iris arrives and Barry asks her why she's there. She's trying to get info on what happened with the lamppost and the guy we saw earlier. Iris and him talk about what they could do to improve the date they had recently. That was kind of boring. They'll figure it out later once things are resolved with Jesse, but they're still wanting to date. They have cute, awkward flirting because they're not fully comfortable with each other yet. I thought that this was like,
Yeah.
to be fair, they do this a lot. This is kind of like how Barry flirts with people, where they do the whole like, "Oh, I'm awkward. I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna walk this way, and you're walking that way," kind of thing.
Yeah, they did that a lot with Patty and Her name's not Lucy. That's her character in Big Time Rush. Linda Park. That's who I was thinking of. But they did that a lot with
Big
her.
Time
And
Rush. I didn't watch that show. I remember that
dude,
name.
I love that show so much. I love the music too, but like I just remember her as Lucy from Big Time Rush. I'm pretty sure I brought this up on an episode way back in season 2. But yeah, she's Lucy, which is like the cool punk goth character. She's in the way later seasons. But yeah, it was they always do the kind of awkward flirt thing with Linda and then Patty and now Iris. They do it with Felicity too in early seasons. Yeah, no, he's perfect at that.
Yeah. So Joe interviews
Spider-Man at some point.
Yeah. Joe interviews Frankie. She claims not to remember what happened to her foster dad. She claims she blacked out and doesn't remember. John is pretty banged up in the hospital right now. Joe excused himself to talk to Barry. Barry thinks, but isn't sure. But like it might be a super strong meta that did this, due to the strength you would need to move the post. His investigation was cut short by Albert, who says there are no fingerprints, so it doesn't check out. Barry says, like, that wasn't my theory. And like, though it seems like he didn't really have time to come up with any kind of theory anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. They think something else caused it due to the wingspan in order to move it being over 20 feet. Joe tells Julian about Frankie Kane apparently in and out of foster care for a while, mentions the blacking out, and Barry says it's common for kids witnessing traumatic events. Albert like questioned it, being like, it is basically, and Barry hilariously mocks his British accent and goes like, it is like back.
Yeah.
Like that was great.
That was so funny. I was kind of pissed because I'm like, dude, Julian, you don't know the extent of a metahuman's power. There could be like a stretchy guy who could have just crushed it all the way around with a glove on like that, and it still would have knocked it over.
Well, Julian's also like a know-it-all too.
That's true, but I feel like even with that, you can't entirely rule out metahumans though, because you don't really know the extent of what they're capable of.
Yeah, that's true. Julian says it might be something else, and goes and nicely speaks to Frankie, asking if she wants water, and takes her glass, telling Joe they'll need another one. So he basically gets fingerprints off the one he took from her.
Yeah,
which I thought was clever. Joe tells him to follow him and see what he can get. He's going to wrap up the Frankie stuff, then convince his son he's not a superhero. LOL is what my note says.
Yeah. I think like 30 years of DC Comics lore say otherwise, Joe.
Yeah. Back in the lab, Jesse seems to be doing great speed-wise, but Harry still wants to run more tests. Jesse excuses herself to go get something to eat. Cisco and Kate ask Harry why he's stalling, and he says that his daughter... Like, basically, it's his daughter he's worried about. After seeing Barry's example, she'll want to be a hero just like him. He wants them to talk her out of it, not into it, because their whole thing is like, oh, we can train her and stuff. He's like, I don't want you to do that. Like, I want you to talk her out of it.
Yeah.
He begs both Cisco and Caitlin to talk to her. Cisco says, as a meta, he's the last person that should talk to her about having powers. And despite what Harry says, Kate and her aren't close, and she claims to not have powers and dismisses herself. Like, make it less obvious, Caitlin.
Yeah,
like,
I was
like,
gonna
powers.
say, yeah, very suspiciously defends the fact that she doesn't have powers.
Yeah, it's like it would make it less obvious. Wally and Joe talk about his lack of powers. Wally's convinced they could still manifest based off what Harry said, but Joe said he also said they could never show up. He mentions the first time dark matter hit and how only a small number of people got powers. He knows he wants it, but it might not happen. Wally at first thinks the only way to help people is with his powers, but Joe says Barry was helping people long before that with his mind as a CSI. Yeah, Wally
that's what I thought too. I was like, your logic flawed, Wally, because then what the hell is your dad doing?
Yeah, exactly. Wally needs to stay at school to help hone his skills and build a better world, like literally. I like that like his whole thing is like just the point too of the whole thing of like, hey, dark matter hit a lot of us and only like a small portion of us got powers. Like, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah. Because you never factor that in, right? When you're watching the first season, you're just like, oh, dark matter reigns over the city. And it's not like, well, it only affected like 5 people, you know, and not literally
Yeah,
5
or like
people, but
30 or however many there
yeah.
were, yeah.
Yeah, it affected however many people the writers needed for a given episode. But it was still cool to kind of get that insight of like, yeah, because Joe was hit by it, and I'm pretty sure we saw that in the pilot too, of like, because that's how the Martin plane went down, if I remember right. It was like
That's
the dark
true.
matter beam hit the plane, and then it fucking went down and everything. So yeah, we saw him hit by it, but for some reason Martin was affected and Joe wasn't. It's like genetics in general, just 50-50 poll.
Yeah. Julian is taking a DNA sample and Barry asks why. He's isolated an element that is consistent with the husk they found. Julian confronts, basically he's saying like, this is consistent with the other things we found before, which is interesting. Like her
Yeah.
DNA. Julian confronts Frankie, accusing her of hurting her foster dad on purpose. Like he triggers like her powers and says like she wanted to do more than hurt him, and now she'll do the same to him. As she takes off bits of metal from around the room, Barry quickly changes into the Flash and saves Julian from the falling metal mural. The mural that we see in a lot of episodes, where it's like that Art Deco piece of like the cops and everything.
Yeah, I really like that mural. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Frankie disappears and Flash finds her in a back alley. She says Frankie is gone. Her name is Magenta. Flash talks her down, saying she's like this because of alchemy. This isn't her, and to come with him. She says it's her or the cop car. She levitates above her as she throws it. Flash runs and grabs the cop as the car lands and Frankie disappears. Back at Star Labs, Barry tells the team about her and her villain name, which Cisco responds with a meh LOL.
Yeah,
That was great.
I love that they're back on the Cisco is the names guy around here.
Yeah. Joe says Magenta is a whole different person. So like obviously if we didn't say this before, like Magenta I think is meant to be like maybe like 13 or
DID.
14 basically.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. Yeah, she's significantly younger than a lot of the people that we've seen on this show. Like even Wally's supposed to be a teenager, but I think he's like what, 16 or 17,
or like
somewhere
17,
around
probably
there.
17.
Yeah. Yeah, I would lean more towards 17, but still, it's like she's a lot younger than even Wally or Jesse. So it was also cool to, you know, see one of the younger villains on the show. It just kind of shows like how how it affects different people, like how dark matter and, you know, alchemy was affecting different people. And apparently she's from the original Flashpoint timeline, but we never seen her.
Well, there's probably gonna be a lot of that this season, but
Probably.
yeah, so she apparently is suffering from a lifelong condition of split personality. They realize John is a scumbag that Iris will follow up for more info. Harry theorizes she's faking it, which Barry shoots down. That was like an interesting moment because like that never really gets addressed again, other than like Julian earlier. Like it's something they bring up, and you think like, oh, they're gonna maybe it is like more to it, but it's like no, she actually genuinely doesn't know what her other side is doing.
Yeah. And I can see why Harry would jump to that conclusion because he doesn't have like all the pieces of the puzzle, so like he doesn't know the full picture. But it was interesting.
Yeah. He tells them of alchemy giving her the powers. Harry realizes it's connected to what Barry did and keeps giving him shit on the time trip he took. Like like there's a reoccurring thing where he keeps doing that. It's kind of great.
Yeah, I love their constant bickering. It's always fun.
He also keeps doing this thing where he'll keep saying stuff and then go not after that. Like it's
Oh
a
my
thing that only
god.
he does, according to Jesse.
It's the most dad thing he's done in the history of the show so far, and I love it, but I hate it at the same time.
It's like he just discovered it, like typical like dad stuff. He just discovered like
Yeah,
old slang.
he's scrolling through Facebook too much.
Yeah. They need to track her down, and Jesse is all too eager to help, much to Harry's chagrin. Hilarious moment where Barry talks to Joe and mentions Wally still seeming bummed out. It won't fix itself overnight, and he mentions it was one of his better dad cop moments. There's good cop, bad cop, and then dad cop, life lessons, etc. More nuanced approach that Joe does. Barry says he's not familiar with that, and Joe says he didn't have to use that on him. He's more like a second daughter, always open about his feelings, then says he's messing with Barry. Barry repeats back second daughter as Joe's already left and seems slightly annoyed and confused.
It's so funny, dog. Like, oh, I love whenever Barry and Joe are just bantering back and forth with each other. It's so good.
Yeah. Kaylin finally goes and talks to Jesse after Harry begs again. Kaylin tries to talk her into taking it slow, even has a line saying she would if she did. She disagrees, saying Barry was immediately in the field after he got his powers. Jesse sees through this and realizes her dad put Caitlin up to this and storms off. She confronts Harry, saying the reason they came there was so that she'd be convinced not to use her powers and he wants to keep her safe, something she's heard her whole life. She's not Barry, and like she's like, I'm not Barry. Like it's like, you're not Barry. It's like, yeah, I'm not Barry. And she storms off at super speed. Wally's going to talk to her now. So like it's like, I know it's for the plot of the episode and it ends up helping, but like how many people are going to go talk to Jesse, or like, you know, it's like so many times they use that trope in this episode.
Yeah, it's literally like almost the entire cast minus like Cisco talk to her. It's kind of ridiculous, but I don't know.
Like they should make a compilation of the number of times a character. Like I'm not going to do a counter like some other podcasts
No.
do, but I definitely it would be funny to see like a compilation of, oh, I'll go talk to her, I'll go talk to him.
You could do that for the entire Arrowverse.
Yeah. Alchemy and Magenta talk. She wants to get rid of Frankie, and they talk about how she came there wanting a way to stop John. He says she needs to show him Magenta is in control, and Frankie will know it as well. Wally and Jesse talk. She wanted to call him as soon as she realized she had powers. She hoped he did too. He dreamt of it, but basically he doesn't. That will become relevant later. She tells him the first time she experienced speed, everything was in slow-mo, that basically now that she can run, she doesn't want to stop. And then like her powers got jump started because I think she was like in front of a moving vehicle or something was
Yeah,
the
she said
thing.
something about like she was walking down the street in front of a moving car or whatever, and then suddenly, boom, everything just slowed down. Her powers kicked in, and then she was basically just across the street in seconds.
Wally really pays attention to that last part and says, "Good to know," and stands in front of an oncoming truck. Like I was just like, bro, what are you doing? So she saved him, and despite his protest, she thinks it wouldn't have worked. Barry yells at Wally back at the lab. I love this moment, by the way. He needs to
Yeah, this is
stop
a great
before he
scene.
gets himself killed. He asks Joe if he has anything to add, and he says, "Nah, you basically covered it." I love that moment.
Yeah, it's so good, dude. I love everything to do with Wally in this episode.
That's what I kind of wish that, like, and I know obviously real world stuff interfered with this, but I wish that Wally
Yeah,
stayed through the whole show because I could definitely picture
yeah,
moments like this where, like, even a growth moment where you see like them working together, and like maybe at first you see them like him yelling and be like, "You got to be more careful." Then later on, like Wally, like him, like Barry truly admiring and being impressed by him, basically.
yeah. It's unfortunate because didn't that actor have some like mental health problems?
Yeah.
So he like stepped away from the show for a little bit. That sucks. I wish we could have seen more of Wally, but if it was for the benefit of the actor's mental health, that's
Yeah.
priority over everything else. So
Definitely. Harry yells at Jesse about it too. She storms out, and Harry asks what Caitlin said to her. Caitlin says maybe he should help her navigate her powers instead of assuming they'll destroy her, and then she turned to him rather than pushing him away. He says nothing because you know he has nothing to say. Like Caitlin's exactly right.
yeah, yeah.
Barry and Harry talk it out at the speed lab. How do they keep from messing things up when all they want to do is help? Harry doesn't know. Harry says he did once hear Barry say that you have to trust in the long run that the decisions you make are the right ones. I love this quote, by the way. Like that's like a
Yeah,
great quote, great life
that'd be a
lesson
good
too.
tattoo. Be a good tattoo if I
Might be
wasn't
a little
afraid of
long.
needles. Might be, but I mean, you could probably shorten it, add a couple of words to make it work.
If you ever become a dad, you should get Dad Cop on. Like that'd be
Dad
pretty.
cop, yes, that
That'd
would
be a
be sick. That'd
hilarious
be awesome.
tattoo.
That'd be awesome. Get a little lightning bolt below it.
Yeah. I was telling Amanda recently, and then this is something that we can quickly move on from afterwards. But you know the Reverse Flash arc and the New 52 Flash. the one where it's like on the cover, it has like the shadow of Reverse Flash and then like Flash
No, I'm
running,
not sure I've
basically.
read that. I'm not sure I've read
Yeah,
that
there's like
one.
a lightning bolt and everything, but like there's a really cool, it's almost impressionistic looking. And I'm like, if I ever had a sleeve of like the Flash, I would get that like
Yeah,
on my arm, basically.
that'd be pretty sick.
Harry was always too good at forgiving himself, and Barry was never good enough at it. I think that that's like really insightful and just like a really good moment between these
Y-
characters. Good writing. Iris interviews John James at the. This is funny, and like not to dox this person that I went to school with, but there's actually
Shit.
like when I heard that name, there was someone I went to school with named John James. That was kind of
Oh
funny.
shit. Dude,
Yeah,
not to do the same thing, but there's a guy I went to school with literally named Jason Todd. I was like,
that's
well,
nuts.
I know. I was like, well, somebody's parents must have read a few comic books.
There was like not me, but like Lance had a student from Always Honda Era. I remember him talking
Yeah,
about this.
our
Had a
good buddy
student at
Lance.
one point named Carter Hall, which is like really
That's
funny.
fucking sick. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And he's like, you're like Hawk, like the kid's you're like I'm like Hawkman, like I know basically. And then like he's like, that's right, and you're my favorite student now because he's like a music teacher.
Yeah, I know that. That's even cooler that the kid knew it was Hawkman. That's awesome.
Yeah. He probably hears it so many times. But
Probably.
so Iris interviews John James at the hospital. She deduces that John was abusive and will hurt Frankie again if given the chance, and realizes that Frankie is going to come back to finish it. She tries to stop it by telling a nurse to move him to a safe location, but it's too late. Frankie is there. Did this did this kind of give you, have you ever seen Chronicle before?
No.
This
I
kind of
plan
gave
to
me
watch it at
Chronicle
some point.
vibes.
Okay. I know it's like a found footage superhero horror movie kind of thing.
There's a moment, and it's not like a huge spoiler. Like, it's an old movie, so I'm just gonna tell you this.
That's
There's
fine.
there's
I'm
a
fine with it.
moment with an abusive dad where he's like up in the hospital, and like the kid that ends up turning into a supervillain in the story like destroys like part of the hospital. There's like a camera
Whoa.
footage in there, and he throws stuff like a car or something into there and destroys that room
Whoa.
basically. I know Max Landis
All right.
sucks, but that still is a very good movie.
Didn't he used to write Superman comics at one point?
Well, Max Landis also wrote that Chronicle movie and then another movie.
Oh,
Dude, it
okay.
sucks that he sucks as a person because like some of his
I did not
scripts were
know that.
so good.
I know
Yeah.
Josh
He also did
Trank
American
directed that
Alien.
fucking movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Josh Trank, yeah. So she lifted an ocean tanker and intends to throw it at the room. Iris is moving him to another spot at the hospital. Like it's on high alert. Even though he's abusive, she can't let him die. Iris is triggering her panic button that Team Flash picks up on that they install on everyone's phone. Barry has a moment too where he's just like, what's that? It's like, it's the thing we install on everybody's phone, and he's just kind of like, well, I'm glad that at least that's like a positive improvement. It's what
Yeah,
Barry
I
says.
liked that. I did like that. It was like a nice little meta touch from the writers. They're like, okay, yeah, this is what Iris is working with now. This is better.
Definitely. He's gonna go stop it. He's not sure how, and he tells Team Flash to start thinking of solutions. Frankie is gonna level the hospital with the tanker. There isn't time to do anything. She basically has a tanker like hovering above the roof now of the
Yeah,
hospital, and Barry is on the
terrifying
roof.
boy.
Yeah. Barry is on the roof, thinks to make a wind funnel, but it won't be enough with his arms. But if he makes a figure eight running, it'll act as like a propeller and stop it. He stopped it, but there are still people trapped in the building that Frankie closed the doors of. Like they're trying to get out the entrance, but she like makes the doors shut. He can't stop her if he's up there. Harry says Cisco is right and tells Jesse to go help Flash. She says he knows she can do it. She's more than fast enough. Now run, Jesse, run. I love that moment. That was
Yeah,
great.
I loved it too. That was badass.
And then obviously like channeling his like original like Harrison Wells where he like
Now
whispers the
run,
line.
Barry, run.
Yeah, he's like, "Run out, run, Jesse, run!" Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
He even
But
like does that low, gravelly kind of whisper too that OG Wells does.
definitely. So Jesse takes over the tanker propeller thing for Flash, and he tries to talk down Frankie. The tanker coming down is like coming down. He needs to stop her now. Flash pleads with her to not let John destroy the good that's still in there. She mentions all the horrible things her foster dad said, and Flash says her foster dad blamed and took out all of his mistakes on her. He couldn't move forward, but she can. Nice parallel themes going on here with like him and like, obviously like Harry as well. Like that thing where like, they don't say it, like they don't like hang like, like they don't try to like be like, hey, look, this is what we're doing,
Yeah.
basically. But like, if you're paying attention, it's like he's also talking about himself there, and he's working through some stuff.
Yeah, that was a really good moment too. I did enjoy some of that.
Yeah. She relents and returns the tanker and immediately collapses in Flash's arms, crying and apologizing. He says it'll be okay as people rush out of the hospital. Like, she did really good in this episode. In that moment where he's
Yeah.
just like basically like cradling her and like hugging her and telling her it's going to be okay was such a good moment, and a moment we rarely see in like superhero properties of like
Yeah.
a superhero like comforting like someone like that.
See it in
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Like Spider-Man, but yeah, like
Spectacular
it's
Spider-Man does do it.
yeah, like the DCU seems to be the one that would probably do more stuff like that, but it's just really nice to see an ending like this where he's
Well,
like
Superman
comforting her.
does do it when he saves that old woman from like I forget what he saved her from, but he saves this like older woman, puts her on a rooftop, and he's like, deep, slow breaths, ma'am. Everything is gonna be fine.
Yeah. I also like it does remind me, obviously it's a little bit different, but it kind of does. You could draw a parallel to Batman the animated series with the baby doll thing where like at the end she's like crying being
Yeah.
like I didn't mean to, and like he's just like, like hugging her
Wait,
basically.
have I seen? I don't know if I've actually seen that episode.
Oh, dude, that one's so good. You need to I'm not going to spoil it. You need to watch that though.
Okay, I
Like
definitely
as soon
plan
as
to
we get
watch more
off that, go
details.
watch that.
I'm gonna go watch Chronicle when we get off this.
All right, that works too.
I'm gonna
Back at
watch
Star
Chronicle and
Labs,
then
Frankie
B-Taz.
learns she didn't. Oh, what's up?
I say I'm gonna watch Chronicle and then I'll put on some B-Taz.
Nice. Back at Star Labs, Frankie learns she didn't hurt anyone else and that John will be serving time for what he did to her. She says it's so strange being responsible for all this and not remembering any of it. She mentions the only thing she remembers is these reoccurring visions and dreams of another life. Then she heard alchemy and he said he'd give her powers and stuff. So, like, obviously, like, I didn't write this in my notes, but there's a moment where, like, Wally has, like, this look of recognition, basically. Like, he's like, oh, like he's, like, having a moment where he's like, this is happening to me,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember where that goes. I just don't remember how late in the season it is, but that's not nothing. They're not just kind
Yeah.
of putting that there. That does go somewhere, and I'm sure y'all know where it fucking goes at this point.
Definitely. Flash says if she faces the darkness within, she'll come back better. Nothing Magenta did is her fault. He's letting her go, which I thought was like really nice. Obviously, she's not going to go to jail. She wasn't in control of her
Yeah.
actions. They found her a good home in Keystone, people who will never hurt her. She worries about Magenta coming back, and then he goes fight her, and if she needs Team Flash, like they'll be there, which I thought was great. They have faith in her. She says like thank you to them all. Like this was like a really good emotional moment. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, this Joey King, she might have a future in acting. She's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like I don't know, she's well accomplished and has done stuff before.
Yeah. Joe checks in on Wally and he says he just feels bad for Frankie. And he's good. No dad cop required. Apparently he heard about it from I think like Barry or something is what he says. That was great.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Harry says that was Jesse's first victory as a superhero. His daughter, Jessie Quick, like they're talking like separately near like where they had come out of the portal earlier. He should have been supportive a long time ago. He's always going to worry and be cautious and love her. And she says she knows and hugs him. And she says like she'll always love him. And even when he drives her insane, I thought like this whole thing was great. And then he bestows her with the new suit. He says they're going to stay there for a few days and run some more tests. And then like Cisco whipped it up.
Well, no, because isn't that just the trajectory suit?
It's not.
From
It's not
Trajectory
really. So
Is
it's
it
not
slightly
supposed to be.
Okay, because I'm
Yeah,
like, it just looks the same.
It is. It's a budget. Like it's a
True.
lower budget
Well,
show. I think
who
you're supposed to
knows?
see it as a new suit.
maybe we can explain it as Flashpoint erased that episode from canon, so that never
Maybe.
happened.
Yeah,
And
you're
Cisco
not
actually
supposed to
did just
notice
make
it.
the suit.
Yeah, you're not supposed to notice it looks just like
Yeah.
trajectories.
Well, because when we were watching the episode, I remember at first when I was watching it just by myself going, hang on a minute, that's not her suit. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, that is just the exact same costume as Jesse's.
To be fair, I think that he says that they added the flash symbol to it, so maybe it is, but he never says
Maybe.
this used to be a villain suit.
Yeah. And like we said, we don't know what all did and didn't happen from the previous season in this new post-Flashpoint timeline, so maybe trajectory never happened. Like, obviously, to Barry it happened, but maybe, like, in the grand scheme of the universe, it didn't happen anymore, and that's just the suit that Cisco made.
Yeah. His guilt has kept them both back for too long. She's always been his hero. Now this time it's time for him to let her go so she can be one for everyone else. They hug, and then the camera pans to the suit. And then Iris is all dressed up for round 2 of their date. They need to embrace who they are now. His powers and all, and not ignore them. He super speeds them to a romantic spot, and Joe is calling. She's cool with him going. It's already been an amazing date. Flash is what she says. My note says all, and then they kiss. And then he speeds off and she smiles. I thought that whole scene was really well handled.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best romance scenes with Barry and Iris so far. Like, they've had
Okay, what
other
the hell
romance.
is happening, man?
I
Like,
don't
what the
know.
hell is
I
happening? Like, we
don't
like
know.
this.
Yeah, I don't know why people keep saying, like, we brought this up last time. I don't know why people keep saying Iris is a bad character. There's got to be something in a later season where she just gets so unbearable. But so far, she's not bad. She's got plenty of
Yeah.
time that, like, they could fuck her up in the writing, but so far,
Well, even their relationship, like, even like if you take a step back and be like, okay, like that weird part, I'm like, no, like they're actually selling me on their relationship right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, I almost forgot that they're pseudo siblings for a second.
Yeah. And then flash in credit, back at the lab, Joe shows Julian and Barry security footage of what happened at Iron Heights. That's top secret for people, basically, so people don't think they have a security issue. They show the footage of Clarice mentioning alchemy before a somewhat invisible thing throws him around the room. We see some lightning. He was dead before he hit the ground, is what Joe says. Barry says alchemy, and Julian asks if he's ever heard that before, and he says no. They theorize if it might be an invisible matter or maybe a ghost, is what Julian says, and asks Barry's like, do you believe in ghosts? And then like kind of looks at him for a second, and Julian answers the question himself and goes no and walks off. And then Joe asks if Barry thinks this is a side effect of Flashpoint timeline thing, and Barry says he has a feeling a lot of things are these days. This final scene, it's interesting. Obviously they would have to loop Julian in, but it's really interesting that they chose to include him on this.
Well, yeah, you also got to factor in the big reveal with Julian later in the series.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. Sure. It's a rewatch podcast, my friend, but even still, I feel like that's a secret still. But yeah, no, it was very interesting.
Savitar? Oh wait, we haven't met Savitar yet.
Well, I was just going to say it's interesting that they're already doing this setup for Savitar, because we mentioned that there was lightning around there. So
yeah, because they say it's invisible, but if you look at the scene, because they say invisible, but I'm like, you can clearly see lightning there. What are you guys talking about?
But the thing, and I'm not counting this as a spoiler because this happens every season. Savitar is way faster than the Flash, as everybody else is in this show. Apparently,
Jesse might be faster than the Flash.
Rival
was in the last episode a little bit.
Yeah,
he was outrunning him for a minute.
Yeah. I think Barry just needs to take some V8 for a little bit or something. Or V9.
Rival hit does the thing where he just calms his head or something like that. Should have had a V8 to him and runs off.
Should have had a V8. I didn't mean to say V8. Leave me alone. I meant to say Velocity 9. I realized
I thought you were making a joke.
No, I realized my fuck up. I should have just left it because it was funny anyway, but still. Yeah, no, I think it was fun that they looped Julian into all of it, and it's just gonna sting a whole lot more when they drop the big secret.
Man, this fucker though, like I feel like if you did it, like he'd probably pop in the lab and be like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you looking at? What's going on over here in
Yeah,
my lab?"
probably, yeah, he'd still be the same.
Bro thinks he owns that lab, basically.
Literally, he does.
Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ, dude. Like, calm down.
Yeah, this dude, like, as much as we like him, bro needs to chill. Well, I like him. I don't know.
He needs
I
to
feel
get
like,
laid.
bro needs to go
'Cause
find Hermione.
yeah, no, it's so funny because like he acts like all like he because like Barry's going on a date and stuff like that, and he's just kind of like, oh, well, not yet, or something like
Not
that. Like
yet.
he's like,
Yeah,
bro, come
not
on.
yet, you aren't. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude just needs to find this universe's equivalent of Hermione and get on that shit, because there's no Harry Potter in this world, so you don't got to worry about
Who
that.
does Draco date in the Harry Potter books? Do you know, or does he have a love interest ever?
I do not remember. I will have to look that up. Give me uno
Amanda would probably know
second.
this question.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Dude, I watched those movies. While you're looking that up, I'll just talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
Me and her like watched all those movies. I hadn't seen the later Harry Potter movies until like 2016 or something like that. And I remember just like I fell asleep during the seventh one, and I wake up and I just see like a weird deformed baby in there because it's like the Horcruxes and everything. I was like, what the hell is happening? And it's like Voldemort or something, right?
Yeah, I think that's in the last one
Yeah,
or
I remember seeing that.
something.
I'm like, what is this? Like, I was kind of
Well,
like so
I think
confused.
it's the last one, but I think it's also in the one that Robert Pattinson shows up in, and fucking dies
Oh,
in
the
the
one
same
where he
movie,
holds the
where he
wand like
holds
it's a
it like a
gun.
gun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love him talking about that in that interview. So apparently, Draco Malfoy's love interest and eventual future wife's name is Astoria Greengrass, who is a fellow Slytherin and younger sister of classmate Daphne. I don't know who any
who
of
the
those
fuck
fucking
is
characters
Daphne?
are. Exactly. You might have to ask Amanda about that one. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah. Anyway, so for like this one, the acting from Joey King was like so good. So like I'll kind of just go in my heart humor spectacle, and then we'll do our lightning bolts. So my heart for this would just be like that ending where like she just collapses into like Flash's arms and like is
Yeah,
apologizing and crying.
that was very well done, emotional beat.
Yeah, and then my humor would be the just the pettiness between Barry and Julian with the like is it, and then he goes like is it, like back
Is it?
like
Yeah,
yeah, Barry
that's
like making
that's so
fun of
good.
him. Yeah, and then my spectacle would be like the ocean liner, like figure eight stuff. I thought that was really impressive looking. How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, so my heart would be the scene with Jesse and Harry at at the very tail end of the episode where he's just like, "Oh, you've always been my hero. Now it's time for you to do it for everybody else." And like she gets the
Yeah,
suit and stuff. That was a really
that was
strong,
so
really
good.
good. Yeah, that was a good like kind of stinger on the end of the episode.
Where the
My
hell did Tom
humor,
Cavanaugh ever win awards for this show? I feel like he should have.
if he didn't, he should have because he kills it in this show.
He's
Um,
so underrated.
Yeah, but I think my humor is when they're yelling at Wally and Barry turns to Joe and he's like, "You got anything to add?" No, I think you pretty much said everything.
Yeah.
That made me chuckle. Or my contender is also when Barry says that Joey King's character's name is Magenta and Cisco goes, "Eh."
No, he goes meh.
Oh yeah, he's meh. Yeah, that was pretty funny to me too. And yeah, the spectacle of this episode's definitely that ocean liner. Kudos to our old pals, the VFX team. They did great work on
They were
that one.
working on this season because I remember them. There's a moment we'll get to later, but I know they had a certain name for one of the things that
Yeah,
happens later in this. We'll
remember,
definitely get there.
I think we're not far off from it because if I remember right, it's the episode where Wally lives up to his potential. which is episode 7, as I just Googled while we were talking here today. So we're not
Wait,
far off. And they could figure it out by reading the plot descriptions, bro. Plus, it's a rewatch
It's been out
show.
since 2016.
Yeah, and also we're a rewatch podcast, so if we spoil things, we're sorry, but you should watch the show.
It's 9 or 10 years ago at this point. Like it's so
Oh
long
God!
ago.
Oh, is this
Yeah.
how you feel when I don't understand your references?
No, I'm about used to it now. But the lightning bolts for me would probably be. This was such a good episode. The only thing I didn't really bring it up, and like you kind of have me looking at it differently. The dad character. There are people like this, obviously, in real life,
Yeah.
but like he is kind of shallow. But like I will look at it as like they are doing like sometimes for a story a character doesn't need to be this layered thing if like he shares the function, if he like whenever he fulfills the role he's supposed to be in the
Serves the
story. Not every
function of the
character needs to
story,
be
yeah.
deep. That's not a flaw. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I would give it like I give it
sorry.
like 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, yeah, I'm probably at about the same 4.5. I might even, dare I say, might even go with a 5. Much as that fucking
It was so
asshole in this
good.
episode reminds me of somebody I used to know in real life. Like, God, but it was
Well, this guy went to
genuinely
jail, so at least there's that.
yeah, but yeah, sorry, lost my train of thought for a second. It's just it's the best episode of season 3 so far. I say that like we're, deep in the trenches of the season, but even still, like, this is better than the last episode. It's better than the Flashpoint episode. Like, it's great. So I might even,
I feel like
dare I say, I might even just stick it at a 5.
Yeah, I feel like, and hopefully this trend continues. I feel like with each episode, the season's getting better.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a Kevin Smith episode in this season too, so we'll get to talk about that again. There's probably going to be 1 or 2 at least every season now.
I wonder if there's like a really long featurette that like I'll try to watch, but will be too long again, like there was like in season 2.
That's the most Kevin Smith shit ever, though.
I watched it and I was just like, it's not over yet, huh? Well, I don't really have time for this. I'll come back later.
Dude, that's like, again, everything Kevin Smith. Oh, shit! Dude, he directed episode 7 of season 3.
Nice.
Oh
cool.
my God.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, that's going to be sick.
But yeah, so like other than maybe that minor flaw I might have mentioned, but then again, I don't even know if it's a flaw because he fulfills the role he's supposed to play in this episode. Not every character needs to be a super deep thing, but
yeah.
All that being said, you do your plugs, I'll do my plugs, and we'll go into the Speed Force.
All right. Obviously, you guys know you can catch both me and Alex here on Flashbacks, a Flash Rewatch podcast. You can also find me on my personal YouTube channel, Zurd Network. That's ZURDD Network. At time of recording, it'll probably be, a couple weeks from when this episode premieres, but I have already put out
to edit these. I'm gonna be on vacation soon, so we'll see when I get time to edit them.
I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks from time of recording, but I just posted my Buzz Lightyear of Star Command video this morning at time of recording. I'm very proud of that video. So you guys should go check it out. I'm doing title tests on like the title and thumbnail just to see like, which one gravitates to people. But yeah, I had a lot of fun editing that thing. Was a goddamn nightmare. It's my longest video I've made so far. It's like 44 minutes. The original voiceover file recording was like an hour and 20 minutes. It was hell. I had to do it in 10-minute chunks. Otherwise it would have gotten done like 6 months from now. But yeah, so I just put that out. It's basically talking about the Buzz Lightyear of Star Command pilot movie that I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen because it was on DVD and VHS and stuff. And then the series that's almost basically lost media and you can't really watch anymore unless you know the right places to look. But I also talk about like the god-awful video game and some of the limited amounts of merch and some of the bonus content from the DVD of the pilot that I found and some web browser games. I found all that on Internet Archive. That was fucking awesome. But yeah, so go check that out if that's your thing. If not, I've got another Zerd's Comic Corner coming up soon. I want to talk about the Jeremy Adams Aquaman run that is currently ongoing right now that I've been reading and actually kind of enjoying, as well as the My Adventures with Superman comics, because I've been loving season 3, so I went back and I checked out some of those comics. So both of those are currently just kind of in the works. I'm taking a little bit of a break from content on my solo channel because, again, I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks, so I'm kind of just, chilling. And then, obviously, I'm bringing this up. I've got my voice acting stuff for my friend Minnow Films, wrote their newest video. Newverse Media, voice of Big Blue Superman himself. I even got the shirt on. And I'm also just, like, random background side characters and a bunch of other of Newverse Media's audio dramas. I'm trying to think. Oh, the Arkham tapes. I am the voice of Nightwing. And I think that's all I got.
Nice. So for me, obviously, you can find me on Flashbacks, a Flash Rewatch podcast, where we cover every episode of the CW Flash show, as well as other Flash-related things on the off seasons. Also, you can find me on Superhero Stuff You Should Know, where, once again, Brady guested on recently, where we covered the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, but not the one you're thinking of, like a theoretical sequel to the first Spider-Man Sam Raimi movie. Look forward to that.
That was written like a week after or like a couple months after the first one came out in theaters, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then obviously What Me, Night of the Batman, and Tangential Exchange will come back when I have time again. I might have something coming up for What Mean soon. I'm having a friend come over. We're gonna be you guys can't see this, but I'm wearing a Dragon Ball Z shirt. We might be doing a Dragon Ball. Yeah. We might be doing a Dragon Ball Z related like movie review coming up pretty soon.
Nice.
That'd be kind of fun.
If you saw the last
episode, if you saw the last one we did, we covered like the Dragon Ball superhero movie. That was the last episode of What Mean that came out. So this one I was actually listening to that one, and I talked to my friend Aaron. I was like, this one, like, you can obviously like really tell if you go back to the first episode of the show versus like the last one, just the terms of like how much I grow as a podcaster just over time.
Yeah.
But then, like, 'cause obviously I had podcasts and stuff before, but how much more comfortable I am. But then too, I was like, no, this was good. We should do another one because it was kind of fun. Like, obviously it's my best friend, or one of them, Aaron. So like us just bouncing off each other. We know each other well, so we can kind of do that very easily. Like even with this show, like going from like the first episode to like this one, like, which,
dude,
I was gonna address this at some point. We're in like the 60s now in terms of episodes.
I know. I was thinking about that today, that we should try something special for the 100th episode.
Yeah, we might
maybe I'll edit that best of compilation and just put it up for the 100th episode.
Do a clip show, but I know I was thinking of, because I haven't gone back to watch it to see if it's like, I'm not going to say who it is because like it's one of those things I'll tell you off mic, but like there is a fan film series that's like related to the CW Flash that like I remember from way back. I'm not going to mention it because I'm like, I don't remember if it's good or not. That's why I'm not going to mention what it is.
I might have actually seen this.
I've seen a little bit of it. We'll talk about it off mic though, because I don't want to say one thing one way or the other or promise something if we don't end up doing it. But we might cover that. We might not. I don't know. I have some ideas for 100th episode or something. But anyway, all that being said, you ready on your end?
As long as I ain't lagging for you.
No, it's been good this episode. So 3, 2, 1. We will see you in the Speed Force. Come on, do it. Come on.
Do it now.
Do it now.
What killed the dinosaurs? The ice.
Go into the Speed Force now. Come on.